Hello, everyone, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and we are also here with Scipio, who you guys can see right there on the what is that? A webcam?
It's sort of a webcam, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just sort of chilling in front of the fireplace because we're doing a special, I guess you could call it like a holiday stream.
Yeah.
Where,
but it's the Christmas stream. We don't guessing about it. We got the fire. We got the dog. We got other furry friends moving in and out of their little cat condo.
Yep.
You know, so it's a cozy Christmas stream.
Yes, that would be the way to describe it. It's cozy.
Cozy.
Yes, cozy.
Yeah. So if you're tuning in, there shouldn't be many rants or other kerfuffling.
Yeah.
You're nice and cozy and low key. We'll just talk about things that we watched that we enjoyed, maybe things that we watched that we can, maybe a bit of nerd rage about things that are stupid, but not toxically stupid. Just the kind of stupid that we used to have when like 10, 20 years ago. You know what I mean? The kind of innocent stupid in the before times where we had no clue what was coming.
Yeah, definitely.
We had no clue the levels of stupid that were coming. The great cosmic storm of stupid that we were about to enter. Okay, all right. So I thought I would try something a bit different, on suggestion of Mike J, who you will know from the Nerdcast and the
news show.
Yeah, he suggested I offer a different fundraising reward, because we are even though it's the holiday season, we still have to pay the bills. So we do have our fundraiser. It is live. It's at feedthebadger.com/support. You can go there and help at any point during the stream. I won't do any arm twisting today because it is Christmas, but I will still point you guys there so that you can help us out and make sure that we're able to manage the monthly allotment. But I was going to do something. We're going to do something a little bit different this month. Mm-hmm. So in exchange for pledges, the reward for pledges will be you'll get to we'll give Scipio a treat, and we have sort of a schedule of treats in exchange for whatever pledge amount that you are pledging. How many times can I use the word pledge? And the schedule is, and this is basically based on how much he should actually be eating. So it's if you're looking at this like, oh,
we don't want him to get fat, right?
Yeah, you don't want to overfeed. You don't want to overfeed the pupper. So I carefully arranged the treats and the amounts so that won't happen or is unlikely to happen. And at some point, I might just have to offer a throw of the frisbee or a pat, a scratch on behind the ears, which he really likes, or a scratch on the chest, or a nose boop instead. But anyway, so we start off with the chimkin trainers, which are these little dried jerky chicken things that he doesn't particularly like, but he could probably eat a lot of them and suffer no ill effects.
Yeah.
And then the next will ask for $5. So if you pledge $5, I'll give him a chimkin. And if you pledge $10, I'll give him a yam dental chew. He likes them a lot better. I actually cut up a larger yam dental chew into small little star-shaped pieces.
Aww.
Which, it was actually sort of a bit of a hassle, but I wanted to do something sort of cute for Christmas. And that's 10 borks or $10. And then the next level up is better than rawhide. So what I got is these little, I think they're like chicken jerky. Supposedly they taste like barbecue chicken. I have my doubts, but yeah, it could be pretty good. But they aren't actually rawhide because I know some people have a concern about feeding dogs rawhide. And that's the next level up. at $25. I have about 4 of those to give because the cats stole the rest of them.
Bastards.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why the cats like them so much, but and then if you really want to give Scipio a treat, you can select from the Pupstries menu. That's like a popper or puppo and pastries.
Oh.
Yeah, the Pupstries menu. All right, so these items are made from freeze-dried liver, liver pate, and lactose-free cream cheese. So they're actually healthy. They're just really high calorie, so I can't give them too many. Yeah. So we got a. Actually,
well, I don't know. It's Christmas. I mean, But what were you gonna say? Am I able to?
He absolutely loves anything with the freeze-dried liver, or the pate, or the cream cheese. So all 3 together, and I actually have them in the freezer right now because I don't want to put them out because he will eat them. He will find and consume them. Yeah. So the 1 square of the liver pate. Actually, I was gonna say, do you have the video? You can show the video.
What video? Oh, you sent me a video.
No, I actually have the video in the general announcements if you want to look there.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you put it. General announcements. I see it. Just give me a second here. Hold on.
Doobity-doo.
Okay, so under the general announcements,
there is a video.
There is a video
showing the items available. I probably should have sent it directly to you. But so I'll tell you just generally what.
Wait. Oh, I see it now. I see it now.
Yeah, you see it now. Okay, good.
It's not the most recent video. It's the one right before it.
Yeah, it's a layer cake, which is an even more elaborate 2 freeze-dried liver treats, like squares, with liver pate, cream cheese in a layer, with a yam dental chew on top, and then the postmodern ECAC, 500 borks.
All right,
okay, go ahead.
All right, so let me just make sure. Apparently, Dragon Noodle Soup is in here. Let me just make sure that this is working. So I got to go back to the way it was.
All right.
No. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
All right. Let me just go, and I got to figure out where I'm gonna display this. But all right, hold on. Let me just. Oh, it's not gonna let me do that.
We got 100 already.
We do? Great.
Yeah. Somebody's already pledged for the fudge with icing. So, and by the way, fudge with icing, layer cake, and postmodern ECAC, I only have 1.
Here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time.
Hopefully this will work.
Oh, look, we got a cat. We got a Simon cat coming in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so this is technically anonymous, but I guess I gave up the ghost with the name. But question. Okay, question, Brian. What do you call a badger that gives gifts?
Oh, I don't know. What do you call a badger that gives gifts?
Santa Claus.
Oh, you mean like claws?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
That's good. Thank you.
That's a groaner. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that.
Right. Okay, so we got $10. That is AEM dental treat, and we'll see. Hopefully, he's in the mood.
Yeah. All right. Putting this back up. There it goes. Go on, Skippy. Eat it.
Eat it.
You have to perform.
He's like, no.
He just wants to sleep.
Yeah, he's had a lot of frisbee today. Anyway, I will go get. Pretty sure he'll be much more excited for it.
Hey, Skippy-O. Well, you know what? It's not that bad to have like a dog that's a bit low energy, especially when it's getting late. I mean, I guess it's not really that late right now, which makes it a bit weird. But like my dog, I don't know, man. Jojo can have like, he's just like whatever. Does he not want it? That's nuts.
Yeah, I know. It's a,
what is that? What did you give him?
I gave him the iced the icing fudge.
Oh, okay.
And no, wait, there's some interest happening there. He's not, this dog is not low energy. We have been working on him for a while. In terms of
I'm not suggesting that he is, but that he's got like, I don't know.
There you go. There it goes. Nom. Oh, he likes that. That was good.
All right.
He enjoyed that. He appreciated that. Thank you, Deadly. I think Skipio says thank you too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretty tasty. He also had a ton of like turkey and a ham bone today. So he might be just a little bit, having the turkey. After you get turkey, you feel sort of like anesthetized.
Yeah, it's carrying a food baby. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right. So getting up. The next one, I don't know. Is there? Well, I can't look at them. What's the Super Chow? I could look that up on my phone.
Okay, so we got we have another Super Chow. $25.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, anonymous. I'm not sure if you guys are intending to be anonymous, but I'll just assume it's so. Because I don't want to read out anything.
Yeah,
anonymous
just
$25.
Just remember that if you want us to know who you are, when you send a Super Chow, there's like a place where you can put your name. But if you don't, then it just goes through as an anonymous donation.
Okay, so anonymous gives us $25 and says, how many presents did you all get for Christmas?
Sadly none, but it's okay because I currently own one, and I appreciate the interest, and I do want to get more, but I'm kind of like trying to keep my priorities straight right now. So
yeah, understandable.
Yeah,
also, Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, like, just making sure that we have our needs covered. And I know that guns are a need, but I'm in a really safe area, and I'm not too worried about that. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got out of Chicago, so that's probably the biggest thing you could do for your safety.
Exactly.
Okay, so what was I gonna say? No, we didn't get any guns for Christmas, and the Grinch is still trying to take them away. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Hunzi put through $25. Thank you, Hunzi.
Thank you, Hunzi.
Yeah, so he's going to get.
Oh, that's weird. Was that oh, these are just donations, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I not seeing that? But I know why now.
Okay. I will try to get him up. Hey, Skippy. Come here. Come here. Get up. Up. Come on. Up. Come on. Up. Up. Get up. Go back up. Go back up. Oh, boy. All right. Here you go. It's like, okay, I don't know. He's not food driven at all, so.
Is the cat gonna take the food from him?
Yes, these are the ones that the cats have been stealing. Sorry, guys. Like, this is you might end up giving this to a cat instead of Skippy. Yeah, he might. There's some kind of negotiation going on here.
Nah. It looks like the cat is just saying, "Give me that. Give me that."
The cat is leaning in.
It's like threatening him.
No, it's not. They're looking at each other. They're pals. They like each other.
No, I see that. All right.
I think they might be sharing it so nobody can see. Honestly, guys, I think they just shared it. Like what I've noticed is that Skippy will leave shreds, and that might be what Simon is eating. Shreds of it that he's leaving. All right, so that was a twofer. You got to see both Skippy and Simon get a treat.
Yeah. Right. Although I didn't know that Simon was part of the deal, but
yeah, I guess he's a cat. He decided he is now.
Yeah.
Thus he is.
Okay. So what else is going on? What else do we have? Do we have any other donations?
Yeah, no. Like I see someone's pending, but it hasn't really gone through yet. So we'll see if it actually does. So other than that, nothing so far. I mean, we're not doing too bad. It's a pretty it's a slow day, so I'm not really expecting a heck of a lot. We're already at including like we got 75 in Super Chow and 135 in donations.
Yeah.
We're only a little bit into the stream, so we're not. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to be doing any arm twisting. I'm not going to be like, oh my god, you people, because it's like Christmas. I'm not going to do the great thing on Christmas.
Right.
Very appreciated. Thank you to everybody who helped out. And I think, well, in the spirit of Christmas, Scipio has given Simon a bit of his treat. So there you go. I don't think he gave him a lot, like the shreds that he left. Oh, it's completed. So we got $50 from Axel G. Thank you, Axel G. And that is a fudge square.
Ooh.
I'll be right back.
Fudge.
Yeah. Well, I just gave him an icing fudge.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how many of these he's going to actually eat. Like the first one, he was a little bit like, so we'll see. But I'll show you in the camera what this looks like.
Yeah, show us the square. Oh, yeah. I've seen those. I've seen those at the kind of boutique-ish pet store by my house. You know, that has like a lot of like fancy homemade stuff. Uh-oh. Yeah. Allison, your camera died. I don't know. Like
shit, and it died just as he ate it. Oh, I'm sorry, Axel. Okay, I will. He appreciated that. He's licking his chops. He's looking a little bit more alert now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
well,
something interesting that's happening that's relevant to my interests. Maybe I'll just I'll stay a little bit more alert. I'll see what I can do. I'll be right back and fix it.
All right.
Tell me about the latest movie that you've watched. Is it still Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, we're on the final chapter, or like the,
Is it the extended cut?
Oh, yes, I do. Of course.
This is like 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. It takes days to watch it. So like, yeah, we're at the end. We haven't started the third.
Okay,
not the third.
Is I went. I figured out what happened. It went AFK even though I was streaming. For some reason, Discord makes you go AFK even when you're streaming. If you're streaming video, if you're streaming an actual movie, you don't go AFK.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you would do that for video. So I'll go fix that. It should
All
be
right.
easy fix. Don't
All
worry
right.
about that, Axel. He did
All right.
really enjoy it, though.
All right.
So where are you at in Lord of the Rings, then?
Well, as I was saying, we are about to start the second disc in Return of the King. So we're basically like, the way that I do it is we watch like one disc. If I can, I'd watch both, but Lindsay can't sit still for that long. So we'll watch the first disc of Fellowship, and then the next day or whenever we get a chance, watch the second disc on Fellowship, and then we do the same thing with the Two Towers, and then we do it with Return of the King. So we haven't started Return of the King Part 2 yet, but that's the plan tonight. That's our Christmas, I guess you could call it a date, and we're going to finish Return of the King. And I mean, it's just such a great movie. I think it's the only movie that I can actually get my wife to watch without her becoming, restless and maybe a little moody or whatever, or wanting to like get up and, I need to go and get something to drink. I need to go and get a snack. I need to get up, and like, she doesn't do that with these movies. She's like, and she knows, and it's really cool too, because, I love to quote movies, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the most quotable movies ever. So, and Lindsay quotes them too. Like today, something really funny happened. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Oh, I think it was like I was offering to go get us some, she was, okay. She had just cooked like this delicious steak. Okay. And that was basically our dinner. And she asked me what I thought about it. And I was like, oh, no, it's delicious, And I said, I was hesitant to say this because I knew it might have bothered her, because Lizzie and I are doing the carnivore diet. So we're not eating any starches or carbs or anything like that. Okay. Which is, it can be tough, because you when you give up carbs, you notice like what it is that you have really given up. It's like they're everywhere, right? And so I said, just to be a little cheeky, I said, you know what would make this even better? And I wasn't lying, right? I was just sort of making a joke, and I didn't think it would upset her or anything like that. I said, you know what would make this even better? And she goes, what? And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to put it out there. It doesn't mean we have to do anything. It doesn't mean that we have to, go and get this stuff. But this would go so well with some mashed potatoes. And not the gravy mashed potatoes, though. Like, maybe more like chives mashed potato. That it was so good, and I thought, man, mashed potatoes would make this perfect. And she said, "Don't tempt me, Frodo." Because she did want. She was like, "Oh man, mashed potatoes would be great, but I can't eat those." So I thought that was just, I just thought that was funny. And again, this is like what she quotes the movies, and I think that first of all, it speaks to how good those movies are because they're so quotable, but also like that she has like this good taste in films and remembers things like that, like that. It's like we're always doing that. We're always quoting, in particular, that movie, but I quote all kinds of shit, and most of the time she doesn't get it. Okay. So I don't know if Allison is back or what.
Yep. I think you see the video. Did you get the video back up?
No. Maybe if I. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, we've been back. I've been doing a bit of getting him to sit there. I'm doing some ball. So that he'll. Yeah. That he'll there. I have to kick the ball to him. See, he doesn't fetch it now. Now it's my turn to fetch. All right. So thank you to everybody who supported so far. If you would like to give the dog a treat, please go to feedthebadger.com/support and put whatever amount you want in. And based on that amount, we will pledge a treat to the dog. Dog will get a treat. He might actually prefer me just to kick a ball at him, but he's going to get a treat.
All right. Fantastic. You just dropped the ball.
Yeah, I know he just dropped the ball. I haven't actually watched Lord of the Rings, like the extended version.
Really? Well,
I haven't had it's a lot of time.
It is. It's a massive commitment, but you know what? Honestly, I don't even remember the difference between the normal theatrical release and the extended version because I saw the theatrical release when it was in theaters. I went to the theater once and watched it, and I liked it. I thought it was awesome. But I never I never went back and watched those. And when I heard that they were doing an extended edition, I was like, well, I'm just going to watch that. And, I bought them on DVD and I watched them the crap out of them. I think I've watched these movies like 20 times, and I'm not exaggerating because I saw it the year it came out and I watched it every year since it was released on DVD. And then later when they released it on Blu-ray with the extendeds and all of that too. And I honestly don't even remember much of the extra content. But the content that's in it is so good. I don't know. It is a commitment. I'm not going to say that people need to, but most of the time when movies have oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. Continue your thought. I'm sorry. I thought you paused for a while there. So I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I should put a question, but no, continue your thought.
Well, I was just going to say, most of the time when movies have hidden, deleted scenes or, extra length that you can watch. I mean, people are willing to watch that stuff, but they're not they don't think of it in the same way that I noticed that Lord of the Rings does. So it's you start thinking, in Lord of the Rings, it's this is the way that Peter Jackson intended it, right? Within whatever limitations, because he did have limitations still, but that is the film as it was intended, and the extended editions. And so that's one of the other reasons why I would much rather watch those. Whereas, say, a movie what's another movie that has extra scenes? Terminator 2, I think, has extra scenes in it. Or, I believe that Gladiator had extra scenes in it. and I don't think they added much. And so, like, people could like take it or leave it. Oh, what is it? Maximus fights a rhinoceros. That might be cool, but it doesn't like add to the heroic narrative of the story as much because we've already seen that demonstrated. So, and then of course it's unfinished and everything. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'll get my question in there. So now this is a little bit of a triumph of endurance because these extended, they're like, what is it, like 9 hours long?
If you want to watch one of the movies from the trilogy from beginning to end without breaks, if you want to watch one movie, so let's say you're just going to watch Fellowship of the Ring, and you're going to watch it from start to finish, then yeah, it's about 9 hours.
Okay, so each movie is about 9 hours.
Yeah, I think so. You know what? Now I'm wondering. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I mean, it's sort of it's just a bit of a detail.
I think they're like 3 or 4 hours for the whole thing, but for each chapter, and therefore like 9 to 12 hours for everything.
Yeah, like he's now, you know what? He found the treat, so now he has more interest in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is how, because I just looked it up, and I think that, like, basically when people talk about these movies, they're talking about the extended version, like, by default, that's like the true version. So those movies are like 3 hours and some change for each one. So you could do the entire thing for 9 hours plus,
Mm-hmm.
So, 904. I don't know who that is. Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry about it. It's like people are gonna pop in because they can. So what's the total runtime?
Well, when I searched it, it said it was like 3 hours, but let's see.
Directors.
Lord of the Rings runtime 2 hours and 58 minutes.
Okay, I'm just looking it up now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so theatrical trailer lasts in total 9.18 hours.
Yeah, admit that
is 11 hours and 26 minutes. So
all right. So there you go. Yeah.
Well, I know that was not really. It's long, but the question I have is succeeding at creating interest in something this long. I would imagine requires being able to a mastery of what they call microtension, which is tension moment to moment. So it's not just the big climax; it's what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that Lord of the Rings manages to succeed at that? Because a lot of films, I don't even think even try. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, for one, I think it's can you have microtensions in in moments in the story where things are more relaxed or casual,
Yes.
So yeah, so I mean, because they have this way of even if like I don't know, you like let me try to think of an example. The hobbits and the Fellowship, they escape Mordor, not Mordor. They escape Moria, and they've lost Gandalf, and that's terrible. And they're all crying and shit. And then Aragorn gets them motivated to keep walking because they can't stay. If they stay, the orcs will overrun them, and they'll be killed or worse. And so they pick up their pieces or whatever. They pick up, their things, and then they start heading out. And as they're doing that, there's lots of little scenes that they sort of sprinkle in, right? Scenes with Pippin, and scenes with I think because they're going into Lothlorien, so there's like these great little scenes with Gimli, and Gimli is warning them about the elves, right? And especially the elf queen, or the witch that rules over them, or whatever. And it's done with comedy, which is funny because Gandalf just died like not long ago. I mean, they've probably been walking for months, but it's like that's not long ago. And I think that that's a great example, because he is talking about the elves and talking about how they'll never sneak up on him because he has like the what does he say, the ears of a fox and the eyes of a hawk, and of course the elves sneak up on him immediately, and right after he says that so, and it's okay though, because Gimli is not he is a super endearing character, right? That's like hard, you can't hate him. So, but like and so anyway, I guess what I'm saying is that they use a little bit of filler to create moments of humor and interest in specifically their character moments, right? So you learn something about one of the characters in the Fellowship, and and they use music really well to do these things too. Like they absolutely, like when they want you to feel as though you just want to go back to the Shire, they play that goddamn Hobbit music, so they'll play, and that it works because you're like, oh yeah, I remember when I was in the Shire in the beginning of the first movie, and like there were all these little people, and they were being adorable, and they were like baking breads and drinking and stuff, and that was all on purpose, right? That's what they wanted to do, and I think that it was very successful. So yeah, it was like, if I had to guess, so I'm not a writer, but if I had to guess, it would be about these little moments, and sometimes those little moments can be pretty heroic, like they might involve some sacrifice. And then after that, it's like the usage of comedy and other little things to sort of like highlight a character trait, especially in a character that is like maybe a little underserved, like it's like learning something about Gimli, for example, or even Legolas, who doesn't. I don't know, Legolas isn't very. Legolas doesn't change that much, but I think that's by design. I think it's because he's an elf. Yeah,
pretty timeless. Well, I was going to say that's actually a pretty good example of what they call microtension, and the reason why is because when Gimli says they won't sneak up on me, I have the ears of a fox, that's actually the writer creating a promise with their audience that thing will happen.
Yeah, for sure. And we all knew it. Like the audience knows the moment they hear it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there in anticipation of when that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So microtension is like, saying a character is late, and then you're like, well, late for what? Why are they late?
Mm-hmm.
it's not like huge questions like, well, will the ring be thrown into the pit, the fires of Mordor, or will Sauron be deceived, whatever. There's not those big, huge questions. Will Gandalf survive fighting the Balrog? It's these little questions that you ask and answer throughout the story, like in like these moments, like exactly that moment. So you make that promise. The writer makes the promise. Okay, now you're gonna definitely see a scene where this character, who is arrogant but still curmudgeon-y and likable, is going to be shown up, and then they're waiting for that scene. And when it comes, that anticipation, that release of microtension is what draws you through the story. And I think that today's, like, a lot of authors today, I'm not sure that they have mastered that. Like, it sounds like well, Tolkien. I read Tolkien so long ago.
Yeah.
That I can't really remember. But Peter Jackson definitely put that stuff in there, and it works. It makes like a 3 or 4 hour film feel like effortless to watch.
It does. I've watched movies that are 3 or 4 hours long and felt like they were 3 or 4 hours long, but you just fly through these movies. Honestly, maybe with, like, in Two Towers, there's a couple of points where you go back to the Ents. And it's sort of like, oh my God, I forgot we haven't dealt with this yet, But I mean, mostly, I think they're very good. So, and you don't feel the length.
Whereas, like, okay, I haven't recently, like, I don't think I've ever watched an extended version of. And I haven't recently watched The Lord of the Rings either.
Yeah. Whoa.
But I have been watching other movies.
And
I recently watched The Heart of the Sea, which starred Chris Hemsworth, the guy who does Thor. Which it seems like he can only do Thor.
Is it yeah.
So go ahead. I've been told that he's a good actor. Yet to see it, but
I mean, I haven't seen anything mind-blowing. I don't think it's necessary for these guys to prove themselves. Like, if all you can do is like action, or you've been sort of typecast, and I think that he has been to some degree. But I don't think that, that's necessarily a bad thing. So, but this movie that you're talking about, you can continue with that. I was going to ask you if it's really long, but
it's excessively long. I think it's over
over 2 hours.
It feels really long.
Yeah.
One of the problems is that you could chop the first half hour off and have completely, actually, a much better film. I'm not exactly sure why they had the first half hour. It was terrible. But the overall story. Sorry, my dog is asking me for more ball.
Okay, do what you got to do.
The
throw it on the couch.
You hear that? Okay, but I want to tell you about this story. Jeez, how am I going to do? Well, I can go on my iPhone, but the sound will be really bad.
Oh, so he wants you to take him outside?
No, he wants me to get up and kick the ball. But I can't do that and talk at my station. I'd have to go remotely on my phone, right? Because then I can move around. But I might have shitty sound, so it's going to be a trade-off. Okay, I will go on my phone. And if the sound is really bad, just tell me, and I'll come
Are
back.
you going to jump into the same chat on your Discord?
I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
All right. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, here I am.
Okay.
And Okay. All right, you. You're gonna see him. He's backing up.
Yeah, I saw him.
Because actually, you know what? This might be cute. I'll show you what he's doing. All right.
Yeah, I see him.
All right. It's like the archway is the goal, and he's a soccer goalie. So he's trying to see what I'm doing with my feet. I'm moving it back and forth between my feet, and he's like, "What's she doing? What's she gonna do?" Oh, he got it. Okay. See that? He's very agile. Okay, ready? I'm gonna kick it. Oops. Didn't even make it anywhere close to the goal.
If it goes through the doorway, isn't that the goal?
Yep.
Okay.
If I get it through the doorway, he's trying to stop that. Okay, drop it. No, we're not doing frisbee. Not in here. Ball. Okay. All right. Okay, so The Heart of the Sea is a story about what Moby Dick was based on. So Moby Dick was based on the story of the Essex, which was actually attacked by a bull sperm whale and sunk. And then they had to do they were like floating out at sea on life rafts for like 90 days. And to survive, they ended up having to, apparently they ended up having to eat each other. But, so the movie is about the attack of the sperm whale. Now, the first part of the movie is excruciating. I don't even know how it got, like, how the audience score on IMDb, it's like 6.9. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't know, maybe it's just a taste issue, but I goddamn can't stand the character. And the reason why is he's a freaking, he's a Mary Sue. Like a Mary Sue. The guy can do no wrong. And ironically, and this is something that I actually really, really hate, is when people rewrite historical characters. So they take people's names and they rewrite their character. And it doesn't actually reflect the kind of person they are or their personality or their choices. So they'll make a character and make him more heroic when he wasn't. And this is an actual lives who now has descendants. And they're just turning this person's name and they're just rewriting it. I mean, that seems really dishonorable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, like, this is a person who exists. If you're going to do a story about his exploits, you should be as honest to what they were as you can be with the available
Absolutely.
subject.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't take these kind of liberties and just say, oh, well, you know, because there's the necessity of Hollywood, we need to have a blah, blah, blah. So, okay, I'll give you an idea of the kind of liberties taken. The main character's name is Owen Chase. And there's still Owen Chase, who lived through the sinking of the Essex. He wrote a book on it. And then there was another, the captain, whose name was Pommel, I believe. Pommel, and I think he was also Owen, but they might have changed it to George or Powell or something. I think it was Powell. And what they did is they essentially made Owen Chase like he could do no wrong. Absolutely no wrong. He was always right. And they turned Powell, Captain Powell, I'm probably saying the wrong name. I'll correct that once I get back to my station. They made him into like this 2-bit, like the petty antagonist. And I'm like, you're dealing with a real person, right? And they're taking away all of his heroic moments. This is like a real guy that existed. This is a real man that existed. These are real things that he did, and they're rewriting it in order to make this Owen Chase played by Chris Helmsworth, into a Marty stew, and it leaves a really bad taste in your mouth when you understand that.
Yeah.
That's like, ew, don't do that.
No.
And it didn't even happen. I swear, but half an hour in, I absolutely loathed Owen Chase, played by Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand the character. I thought he was a schmuck. It was obvious that the narrative was trying its best to put him in the right all the time. And for example, Powell did, like, first of all, it was presented as if Powell got the job as a captain due to nepotism. In real life, Powell had way more experience than Chase, and got the job fairly. Like, he became the captain because he had more experience. But he was presented as like this like landed gentry, English landed gentry, like from an old sailing family sort of thing. So that they have like this they have this aristocratic blood. So obviously he's got to be evil. But anyway, the original, like in real life, he earned his role as captain. That to nepotism. And then there's this one scene where I guess they had to have tension in the beginning of the movie for some reason. And they created the situation where Powell deliberately steers the ship into a storm, into a squall. And he's like, oh, the men need to be tested. It's like, what? And of course, Owen clearly explains the first law of the sea, which is that storms and ships don't go together. The number one rule of seafaring. Storms and ships, not two tastes that taste great together. Keep them apart. And and this guy doesn't even know that, so he steers the ship into the squall, nearly gets everybody killed. And Owen's like, don't do this obvious thing that you shouldn't do, obvious antagonist. And then at the end of it, he's like, yeah, when Owen actually saves the ship, he issues a whole bunch of orders to make sure that it doesn't sink. Afterwards, Powell is like, you're going to take responsibility because you're responsible for all of this. When in fact, they did end up in a storm, but it was due to a navigational error that was understandable. It was just something that happens at sea. So, and then, oh God, it was just really badly done. And it was, the reason why it was really badly done was I swear to God, they were changing it so Chris Helmsworth's character couldn't do any wrong.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like shit.
Yeah, it does. That's the first half hour, though. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene where this is actually really hilarious. Okay, so they have this situation. Tell me if I'm boring you. I actually really like picking apart narration, but I know not everybody's into it.
No, it's okay.
They have this scene. It's after the squall. After the captain says, no, we're going to turn around, get repairs. You're going to take full responsibility, and you're going to get fired and never go to sea again, to Chase, who was the one who saved the boat. After that, they cut to their framing device, and they inform us during their framing device that no, actually none of that happened. What actually happened was they decided to continue, as Owen Chase had told the captain, to get the whale oil, right?
Yeah.
That's what they were at. So they didn't go back. The captain said, we're going to go back. They didn't go back. The captain said, you're going to get fired. He wasn't fired. None of the things that the captain insisted were going to happen, happened. None of the things that everything that he insisted that was going to happen made him an asshole for insisting on it. And then he goes back on all of it. We don't get to see that scene. It just cuts to the narrative framing device and just says, yeah, none of that happened. Well, why did we just watch that scene?
Yeah.
You can understand how frustrating that is.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah,
I mean, you're sitting there, you're like, okay, why did we just spend 20 minutes with all this shit?
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. If you're a writer, do not do that. Do not. Okay, one, do not render scenes that don't have any relationship to moving the plot forward. In other words, the decisions in the scenes that you render don't actually get played out. Okay, so this is a situation where the decisions that we saw made in that scene did not impact later plot.
Mm-hmm.
They were completely like swept off, nullified. Don't render scenes like that. Nobody wants to watch that. And then don't render those scenes and then summarize all of those decisions being reversed.
Yeah.
Like, what the that's like a basic mistake. And the guy who did this movie is not a bad director. And he didn't have a bad novel to work from.
Mm-hmm.
So how I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I told you there might be another rant in here.
It sounds like studio fuckery, probably. Yeah. So
yeah, it sounds like studio fuckery. The first half hour is full of that kind of fuckery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but after they actually make contact with the whales, it's actually a watchable film.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you start seeing less of Chris Helmsworth, like seriously, it becomes so much more watchable.
I believe you. Like
you got that guy Kurt. That guy's a fucking curse. He must be. But yeah, it's like, yeah. It first of all, half hour through, we're finally with the whales. And if you actually just skip the first half hour and just go in about like 32 minutes in, actually just start where they first see the whales, such a better film. Like they just cut off that first half hour of bullshit, it'd be fine. Of course, if you cut off the first half hour of bullshit, you cut off about 60% of Chris Helmsworth's scenes.
So he's not really the main character then, right?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. So he's just in there for the...
He's sort of forced into it, but like historically, while it's more like a Deuteronomy. Yeah, with Powell. They were essentially the reasons why anybody survived this shit. The two of them. So
sounds like... Yeah, go ahead.
They were both fairly important, but
sure.
I don't know. They had to... I don't know why they did that. Also, the guy who played Powell is better looking. No offense, Chris.
It's funny because it sounds like what I was gonna say. It sort of reminds me of Master and Commander. Have you ever seen or heard of that? Say what?
I remember liking that movie. Should I have been more skeptical about something?
No. I'm saying that it has. Okay, it does something similar, but it does it well. So it's not like, oh, we're gonna take this guy and make him like, Dudley Do-Right basically, and then we're gonna like, it was nothing like that. It was a seafaring adventure featuring two guys. They're very old friends. But they're a bit different, right? There's like Russell Crowe's guy who's a little bit more, he's a little more alpha male kind of, machismo and all that, because that's Russell Crowe. He's a very, he's good at playing those kind of masculine roles. And then there was, I can't remember his name. I know that he was in like the Avengers movies. Like he played the Vision, and I've seen him in lots of stuff. He's also a really good actor, and he plays this guy who's like animal preservation guy. Like he'll draw plants and naturalist, right? And so we're supposed to see these two characters as very different, but they're very close, and they they differ on things, but the friendship and everything else is like what's most important. And I think Master and Commander is a great movie for that. So
yeah, it's like the thing is that I have to pick up the ball because he's in his play mode. Oops. Screw up.
Wow. He's like, I'm not getting that.
I'm not even gonna make that effort. I'm not even gonna make the effort. I'm not even gonna bother. Hey, whoa, careful. He jarred the.
I can see that.
Actually, maybe I should move it. There we go. No, I like Master and Commander, and part of the draw of Master and Commander was, of course, the relationship between the botanist and the captain. And they could have done that here too.
Yeah, Paul Bettany, that's his name. One of those guys that, obviously people know him as the Vision, but like I've seen him in movies before that, obviously. And he's one of those guys that you see all the time, and you're like, "Oh, it's that guy." Like that's it's like when I watch any Guy Ritchie film. There are plenty of guys like that in them that I've seen in other things. So.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like. By the way, is the sound good?
Yeah, it sounds all right.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a little bit less good when I'm on my phone. But it's the only way that I can also do his ball that he is requesting. Yes, you are requesting ball. Don't do that double take. No, it's not like Master and Commander. It would have been significantly better. Actually, I think that's why the last hour and a half is better if you just ignore the first hour, because they start to work together.
Yeah. And
it's a lot more fun of a film. But at that point, you start to see more of the two of them. Like it's more of an equal billing as opposed to just mostly Helmsworth asshole. So I don't know. Maybe they were contractually obligated to put a certain amount of Helmsworth in. And they're like, how can we do this? Well, let's make him a gigantic fucking unlikable Marty Stew. That'll work. It's like, when you feel like the narrative is trying too hard to make one character right and another character wrong. That you no longer lose immersion.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, it's like bending reality to get a certain result, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, don't do that. People will come to their own conclusions about your characters. Don't try to force them to be something that they're not. And the other thing is it also in the first half hour it did this really stupid decoy protagonist. Like we thought the person retelling the story was Owen Chase, but it was actually the cabin boy. I'm like,
okay.
Yes. So they switched from a protagonist that I at that point was sort of okay with. At least I had seen him with his pregnant wife and blah, blah, blah. All of they hit all of the tokens in order to try to make him sympathetic. At least they'd made the effort. And then he just randomly switched. Okay, and I know, actually, your protagonist is not this man that you've been watching for the last 20 minutes. Your protagonist is some rando that you don't know at all. Why did you do this?
Is there really the cabin boy is not in the movie?
No, he's in there. He's in there.
But there's nothing that foreshadows his importance.
No, nothing that foreshadows his importance. Even more importantly, if you're going to do a decoy switch to a character people already give a fuck about and know. If you're going to do a decoy switch, don't switch to some background character you haven't even introduced. because
Mm-hmm.
like you're supposed to get some. If you do a decoy switch, people are supposed to be like, "Oh wow, that reveals something interesting," or "Oh, this is like I guess we're going to be following this other story or something, right?"
Mm-hmm.
You have to get something out of a decoy switch or a decoy protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get anything out of this.
No.
Like we're following the cabin boy. Shock. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Like not much really. I think they did it because they didn't want to be like, oh, by the way, this is the story of Owen Chase as told by Owen Chase, in which
Yeah.
Owen Chase embellishes how awesome Chris Hemsworth is. So they wanted to be like, oh, it's somewhat objective because it's the cabin boy. I don't know. Anyway, don't do that. Decoy
All right.
protagonists are difficult to pull off.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
When you write a story, when you write your magnum opus.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. All right. Are people bored of this yet?
I don't know.
Should we talk about something else? Rocketeer and how dumb the female character is in it.
The Rocketeer?
Yeah.
When did you watch that?
Last night, Jonathan, my husband, streamed for Christmas Eve for anybody who's like, having a quiet Christmas Eve and didn't want to just have a quiet Christmas Eve quietly. We streamed about 4 movies in the Discord. Incidentally, if you want to join the Discord, because even like people who are in the free section can actually take part in the screenings of movies.
Awesome.
Just can't really talk. But you can go to feedthebadger.com badgernation.online. Badgernation.online. That's it. You don't have to get a Discord link. You just go to badgernation.online.
And you'll be able to take you right into that Discord, and you'll be able to watch whatever movies are on.
Yeah, and it's free. Like, we're not charging for movies for obvious reasons. So you can pop in, and we'll probably do some more movies tonight. And maybe some more on, just because sometimes the holidays can be a little bit lonely. Not even because people don't have people to go to, but because there's parts of the holidays where they don't. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
oh, go ahead.
Like,
no, it's okay.
There are people in the Discord who did something on New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve, but they aren't doing anything on Christmas. That kind of thing. So, and I know that the holidays can be a little depressing if you're just doing them alone.
Yeah.
So that's why we do. But that is badgernation.online if you want to join for some community chat and screenings of movies. We also one of the members of the community also screens movies on Saturdays and Sundays during the afternoon.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and like I said, this all free. Nobody's making any money off of the movies.
No, we're just sharing. We're just sharing. So, I love The Rocketeer, but I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay.
So I love The Rocketeer because I love the the time period feel and like how they did all that. The actors are all great. Like, well, I don't know about the woman because to be honest, I don't remember. Is that Jennifer Connelly? Yeah, that's the only.
Like, I don't have a problem with Jennifer Connelly. I mean, she's sometimes a bit wooden. She was in like Labyrinth, but then she was only 7 or 15. But like,
yeah.
I shouldn't have a problem with Chris Hemsworth, but something really irritates me about the fact that he's doing all these almost like self-flagellating roles in which he becomes stupider and stupider. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think that he's been typecast as a lovable idiot. Yeah, they did it in. I don't know, why he decided to embrace it. Maybe because of the money. but it started with Ghostbusters. If not, no, I think to some degree Thor Ragnarok, then Ghostbusters, and then it just was like all downhill from there. Men in Black, International, and basically everything else. Where he's like
in Ragnarok, I don't think it like I actually liked Ragnarok,
mm-hmm.
so I didn't think it was as bad in Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like for me, I almost get the sense it's like, well, women have been objectified, so I'm going to self-flagellate as a male feminist kind of quality to it.
Well, I do, but I mean that may not have been how it started off. Like in Thor Ragnarok, he probably didn't think that, but you do those for a while, and you're surrounded by people who are telling you that this is some kind of statement because you're a white man, so they want you to self-flagellate. But and I think that he just ended up like just playing that guy, and it's a shame, but what are you gonna do? So
he's probably, once people get tired of it and his looks fade, he's probably gonna do not much.
That's right. I mean, or he's gonna be discovered by Quentin Tarantino and suddenly become like a massive success. Although I'm
John Travolta's return.
Yeah, like John Travolta, exactly. Yeah.
Well, he'd better get like a cool character that's not stupid then.
Well, yeah, if it's Tarantino, there's a pretty good chance. But
yeah. Okay. So we're talking about The Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't really have a problem with Jennifer Connelly, like as an actress.
Mm-hmm.
She did what she could with the role. She's it's just that. All right. Now, admittedly, I hadn't listened too closely. Like, I wasn't watching very closely.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched The Rocketeer before. I probably was annoyed by this before. But I started to listen when they had their date in the diner. And she was complaining about how, we always go here, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah.
Okay.
And, he does something, or there's like he's I guess part of a flight crew, and they're trying to fly this thing, and they have some kind of success. I don't press me on the details. I have no idea. And she gets upset at him because she wasn't the first to know, and he says very sensibly, "That's because you weren't there." And she's like, "Well, I had to go to my audition." It's like, well, how are you gonna? And then she storms off, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
It's not that you weren't there that's the problem. And what isn't that you prioritized your audition as an actress that's the problem. The problem is that you're pissed at him because of reality.
Yeah.
You weren't the first to know because you weren't there. You made the choice to be somewhere else. That means everybody else found out first because they were there and you were not. And you're like, oh my God, use your masculinity wand and make reality bend on itself so I'm happy. And I'm right. It's like, I couldn't, at that point, I'm like, I can't stand her. And then the problem was, random people started stepping in and telling him, she's like the waitress just like steps up to him and says, go after her, you dunderhead or something. And I'm like,
yeah.
Is this this is our takeaway here? She demands something completely unacceptable. Like she is entitled, and not just entitled. Like, I mean, certain forms of entitlement you can sort of live with because it's within the realms of plausibility. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if somebody really, really wants the toilet paper to have the paper roll over the top instead of just sat on the back of the toilet so it's easier to access, you can live with it, right? It doesn't matter that much. At least it's constrained. At least you don't need to be a god of space-time in order to accommodate. But she's entitled, and she feels entitled to something that's physically impossible. And then she blames him for not providing it to her.
Mm-hmm.
For not giving her a universe in which she could prioritize her audition and still attend his event and be the first person to see his success.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fuck off. And then the waitress comes in and says, go after her, you goof. And I'm like, no, he should cut his losses.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I see him like 10 years into this monstrosity of a relationship. Why can't you fulfill all my monetary desires and have every waking moment of your life be able to spend it with me and romance me? Why is that not possible? I'm divorcing you and taking our 5 children. Like, spare yourself, guys. Spare yourself. You know,
Yeah.
it's a real red flag if the woman is asking for things that require you to be a god of space and time. Leave.
Yeah.
I know. I'm tearing into the movie that you like. Stop me if you want.
No, it's fine. I mean, I think that they were just they wanted. Well, yeah, it's a little lazy. They just wanted the girlfriend to be mad at him so that they could like deal with that later, and they had to find a reason. And so they did the feminine wiles or just like they just slotted all the bullshit. Like they wanted the girlfriend to be mad at him, and they didn't seem to want to write it in a way that made her a sympathetic character. Yeah, no, they didn't. But I don't know for sure, but I think she apologizes to him later for that. But I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I might be wrong. I don't want to be for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What ends up happening is she runs off angry, and then he gets another pep talk from, I guess, the mechanic about how if you let that go.
Yeah, like, he's like her father or something, I think, or he seems to be, but he might not be.
Father figure. If you let her go, you'll regret it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, no, really, I don't think you will. But anyway, I'm going on with it. So he goes to her set to try to beg her forgiveness. This is why I don't think she ever actually apologizes. And he goes to the back of the set and manages to accidentally push over part of the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I remember that.
Everybody's pissed at him. I'm like, no. If it's that easy to push over, that's not his fault. Someone isn't following OSHA guidelines.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, I think that scene exists so that he can meet the primary villain.
Yeah.
Right? And the Timothy Dalton's character. And, you know, the fact that like Secord comes across as kind of like bumbling and clumsy and awkward and all that, and that's all supposed to exist in contrast to the other guy who, you know, he's confident, he's handsome, he's got this, you know, old Hollywood quality about him, and yet, and he's got you know,
better chemistry with Connolly too. No offense. Like, he's tremendously better. But regardless, keep going.
Well, no, I was just saying that they were just trying to set up a contrast. They wanted us to see that this guy is like, you know, more of a man, or, you know, a man that women find attractive because he's like a movie star and everything. And so this makes him a better man for the girl over Secord, who plays the Rocketeer. And because Secord is just like this, he's basically just like a nobody at this point, right? And I think the girl falls for him later, and I think it's because, well, you know, I don't even remember. I gotta watch that again, because I think that there is something interesting about the male dynamics in that movie. You know, between, especially with the main villain and the main hero, even if they are presented in a kind of like simplistic way. But
I wasn't really, like I said, I wasn't really impressed by it. She, especially the dinner scene where she's the guy who's the Clark Gable type is like, I need, he's talking about her boyfriend, and he's asking questions about him, and he's like, I'd like to be able to learn about the competition, and she doesn't correct him. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like, oh God, no. Like, first of all, there's nothing the guy did that was wrong, and it isn't even bumbling. Like, it's literally, if something is not secured on set like that, and someone just taps it and it falls over, that is, that's not his fault. And so none of this has really been his fault. And she's already like, yeah, I think I'll monkey branch. I'll start the process of monkey branching. And I'm like, you're disgusting. This is like, now the female character has gone from just being psychotic to actively repulsive. And I'm like I know that lots of people like the movie. John likes the movie because he likes the comics, right? And you probably just should gloss over it because it's really lazy. It's mostly, I think, just really lazy writing. They didn't actually think about this. But at this point, she's repulsive. Like, she's already monkey branching to this other dude. And I don't know. I think she redeems herself somehow by fighting back against the guy. Which is interesting because she redeems herself by engaging in violence against other men. Admittedly, the guy who skis balls, but...
Yeah, because he like, tries to assault her, I think. I don't know.
No, he doesn't try to assault her.
He gets
actually assault? No.
No, I mean, like, pushy, I guess.
No. She actually tries... She seduces him to assault him. Like, to knock him out.
Okay.
And then it's like, so he has a genuine interest in her? Okay.
I think he did, yeah. It may have only been sexual. But there's plenty of scenes where you see how he looks at her.
Yeah.
Your camera turned off again.
Oh, it's just because I keep going AFK. Just give me a second.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Going back in.
All right.
See my Gago's lovely mug.
Yep.
It's a
got it.
Look. I'll go see if there's any. Oh, so if there's anybody tuning in, we are also pursuing our monthly fundraiser, just pointing people to help us out with that. Okay, I think we got a super chat.
All right.
Do we get any super chats?
We did. I was going to read them, but maybe do the super chats first.
Okay. We got one. All right. The Great Endures says, it gives us $10 and says, I would like to hear Allison's take on Pan's Labyrinth. Everyone seems to call that movie an absolute masterpiece, but to me it's nothing more than a dud. The praise it is getting absolutely stuns me. Well, I actually like Pan's Labyrinth, so maybe I won't be the best person to review it. I'd have to look at it again to give you to see if it really holds up on a second viewing. I think with Del Toro, a lot, you have to just sort of maybe, and it's the same with The Rocketeer too. Like, I'm complaining about this stuff, but it's also, I know it's because of lazy writing. They just had beats they wanted to hit, and they didn't actually think, okay, wait, how do I make the character make sense in this context? They didn't take the effort. And it's a little bit, I think, influenced by the comic bookiness of the writing, too.
Yeah.
With no offense, most comic books don't have the most...
No, they don't.
Spectacular writing.
They're not supposed to.
Yeah. Well, it's about the spectacle and the fan service, right?
Yeah, and like, you can have, enough story and depth to serve that, but you don't need to write, like, I don't know, Once Upon a Time in the West. Like, you can just, like, tell a good story. So I think that in a way, it can be more difficult to do that when you don't have a lot to work with in terms of, like, material. So, But no, I don't think there's a problem with comic booky writing, as it were. As long as we know what we're getting into, and I think that in most cases people do. But the problem is that today, anyway, modern writers don't have any idea what they're doing. So,
well, they don't. They do comic book writing. They don't do like Silver Age or Golden Age comic book writing.
Yeah,
They do chick track comic book writing.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Chick tracks, right?
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That comic book writing. So it doesn't have spectacle. It doesn't have drama. It doesn't have stakes.
Mm-hmm.
All it is a mortal screed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's not writing. It's just a sermon
Mm-hmm.
told in the most unpleasant way possible. But yeah, it's just like well, what I was going to get at with that is when you look at something like The Rocketeer, it's comic booky writing, so it's a bit lazy. It doesn't necessarily hold together very well in terms of when you poke it a bit.
Yeah.
But with Del Toro, I think that you also get a bit of that, because I think with him it's about the spectacle. And the tone, more than it's necessarily about the story. So, and I think actually Neil Gaiman is sort of like that too. I've noticed. It was what was the one that? The one with the angel and the devil that created a friendship, which was really cute.
That was just fan fiction begging to happen. I know that's the one with the was it Michael Sheen and the Doctor? Can't remember which one. The 10th Doctor, I think. But I never saw it. But I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Good Omens, right?
Oh, okay. Good Omens. Yes.
That was Neil Gaiman, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, he does not write good plots, as far as I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot! I mean the freaking.
What? You're in the shot again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get to that freaking ball. You can watch the dog.
All right.
Neil Gaiman is not, from what I've read, is not really. I mean, he's really good at evoking mood and creating visuals that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, really surprising and impactful visuals. But I find that his stories, the narrative isn't as strong as that other aspect of his writing. And here's the thing, like, I think it's like perfectly acceptable to just like a story because it's got comic book fan service, or like a story because it's like a Del Toro and it's just really got these incredibly and like really inspiring and scary imagery. If that makes any sense. Or like a Neil Gaiman, and it's just this really interesting mood and irony and wryness to it. At the same time, it's like slightly funny, like a little bit like Oliver. What is his name? Oliver Twist, the guy who wrote that.
Dickens.
Dickens, yes. He has a strange, sort of a wry sense of humor, and these really interesting visuals. Like, this is what I got from Neil Gaiman, is he can really write these compelling visual imagery. At the same time as the narrative tends to be sort of weak. However, what draws you along is the enjoyment of the spectacle. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like a National Geographic. You know, it's narrative. Although they can make a really good narrative sometimes with those voiceovers.
Absolutely.
Going about their lives. But yeah, it's like you're seeing the spectacle of all of nature, and it's just interesting in and of itself. It doesn't even really need a narrative. Or Baraka, I think it's called Baraka. It's that day in the life of the world, and all it is the montage of human doings. And it's beautiful, and it's very compelling, and it has any narrative. So I mean, you can be entertained by that. Sometimes the narrative just needs to be enough to get like a game started, you know. But yeah, I don't remember. I think that probably Del Toro. Like there was something that I watched of his recently, and by recently I mean in the last few years. It was about Arcadia, a place called Arcadia, and there was a kid who became a troll, I think. Troll hunter, that's what it was called.
Okay.
Yeah, he's literally a troll who also...
Oh, yeah, Troll Hunter. Yeah, I've seen that. That was
really good.
Yeah, that was...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that was years ago. There's another movie out now called Troll, which a lot of people are confusing for like a sequel or something, but it's not. It's its own animal. And I hear that is also really good. It's basically more like a kaiju film, but involving a big giant ass troll. So,
okay.
I was just gonna say about, because I think it was Great Indoors asked about Pan's Labyrinth, and I wanted to give my thoughts because when Pan's Labyrinth first came out, I thought it was fantastic. You know, like the imagination that went into everything, and the effects, and the fact that he was using not just special effects, but he was using practical like makeup and stuff, especially with the fawn and some of the other creatures, because he had like one guy who, you know, was just really thin. He might have even been like I think he's a contortionist or something, but you know, he plays these characters, these monsters in this woman, in this girl's like dreams or whatever you want to call it. And when I first watched it, I was just blown away by all of that. Like, I loved the plot, I loved everything. But when I rewatched it, there were some things that kind of bugged me, and I don't know if this is like fair to the film, but I don't think it's unfair. None of the male characters in the movie are worth anything. They're all pieces of shit, except for like this one guy who essentially serves the woman who's the leader of the resistance or whatever. Like that, he's just like next to her, you know, but he doesn't really do anything or say anything. And everything else seems like an anti-father, anti-family story. I mean, the girl from Pan's Labyrinth, her dad is like this fascist, you know, leader that's really cruel for no reason. He like kills a guy with like a bottle of, I don't know what it was, but a bottle of alcohol, crushes the guy's skull, and he even says, and this is the thing, like the main plot of the movie is that the villain is trying to have a son, and he thinks that he needs a son as an heir to help carry on his legacy, right? And it's very important that it be a son. And this woman, the mother, right, she finally has a son. And I think that if it wasn't a son, he was going to kill her baby or something, but I could be wrong about that, because I haven't seen the movie in a little while. But you see this theme over and over. Like the men are only care about themselves, their legacy, you know, and they're just evil. Like this guy is so evil that when they kill him, everybody gets this sense of relief, like, because that's what the emotional content is of that like the audience is supposed to be like, oh my god, thank god that guy was terrible, right? And when I watched it, like the first few times, I probably was like, okay, that guy was a bad guy, you know, But now my only thought is, why is everybody who's a piece of shit in this movie a man? And why is everybody who's good a woman? Because that's all there. It's so simplified. And you know, does that like kill the movie for me? No, but like I'll point it out if I like have a conversation with someone while I'm watching it. I'll be like, oh, notice, you know. And I think that that's well, first of all, it's a common trope that you see in a lot of movies, you know. But the other thing is that it's so funny because it's so powerful that people will just not even notice the stuff that I just pointed out about how, you know, all of the men are pieces of shit, or they're stupid or something, but they're mostly just pieces of shit. Even the monsters are represented by men. Like, it could have been androgynous, but it wasn't. So anyway, I just wanted to like point that out, and I think just based on like some of the other movies that Del Toro has put out, I think that he's, you know, probably a feminist just based on that. So it wouldn't really surprise me that that would be like one of the things he was thinking of, is like, I want to critique men and I want to use this movie to do it. So just my thoughts. All right, so I got a super chat that I never read from Senior Sticks, who gives us $2 and says,
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, that's okay. He's in Australia.
Keep going.
Oh, let me just read the super chat then. He's an Australian first, as is the other Helmsworth. All right. Well, thank you for that, Senior Sticks. Okay.
Who's an Australian first?
I think he's referring to, well, Helmsworth. What's his name? And his brother, Liam Helmsworth. He's just saying that they're Australians. So.
Well, I guess that makes them better in some way.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
All right. So that's the super chat.
Okay. Well, I don't think we've gotten anything further. Again, guys, if you would like to make sure that the show can keep going, please go to feedthebadger.com/support. We have a few pupstries left if you want to get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, they'll just stay in the freezer and maybe we'll try again. And if you want to send us a message, feedthebadger.com/justthetip.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else that you'd like to discuss?
We'll
continue on this topic of the Pan's Labyrinth, because you're right. It's all the men in that show are sort of assholes, except for the Fairy King at the end.
Yeah, the Fairy King. Yeah, and that's true. And also, I don't know if he was supposed to represent God or anything like that, but there was another like male character that was kind of minor, of minor significance, but that was it. And I don't even know if that guy I think he had like a line. Betty Adams Overanalyzes gives us $5 and says, read the book Troll Hunters by Del Toro. It is a masterclass in showing generational issues.
Okay.
Wait. This is really weird. So I got a super chat from Betty Adams Overanalyzes, and the way the super chat is displaying in the live chat is different from the way it's displaying in the viewer activity box. So the viewer activity box says, read the book Troll Hunters by Del Toro. It's a masterclass in showing generational issues. But when I look at the super chat in the chat, it says, read the book Troll Hunters by Del Toro. It is a masterclass in showing brotherly love, male trauma, and generational issues. Isn't that weird? Like, yeah. I'm getting like two different things for the same super chat because they both went through at the same time. So it's not like she or he Like
No,
wrote
the show was
two
really
sep-
good at that too. Like, it was really well done. The
What?
troll. I'm not sure if he was making like a metaphor for adulthood when, like, becoming a man when the it would actually be worth doing a show on just Troll Hunter.
Troll Hunter that came out
yeah.
a few years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But there was like one male figure, one of his mentors, who's probably, he was actually correct, but he was like a little bit on the evil side. And he said, if you're going to try to go up toe to toe with this ultimate evil, you are going to have to lose something in the process.
Mm-hmm.
You are have to become corrupted in some way. And he's right. And he ends up having to become a troll, or part troll. And that whole process seems like a metaphor for actually becoming a man, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's definitely something to mind there. I did like Troll Hunters, by the way. I hope that didn't come across like I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a fairly well done show. Didn't seem to have much woke in it. And by woke, I mean like crappy writing for the sake of preaching sermon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
For the sake of the scripture.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
All right. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else that I've watched that I can talk about. I spoke about The Lost City. I thought it was actually good.
The Lost City with The Rock?
Yeah. No, not with The Rock. With Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum.
Oh, Channing Tatum. Okay, yeah.
Now that I've actually heard him speak in a movie, like every movie that I've watched Channing Tatum in, I couldn't tell what the fuck he was talking about. Sorry for the swearing. But
I think it's a little late for that.
For some reason, the guy has the mumble disease. And it really annoyed me. So for the first time, I got to hear what he was saying, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's actually sort of charming.
Yeah.
And so that was good. And they used the mumbling appropriately, and that movie is an interesting example of something that as if you're going to write romance. Okay, so the story starts, and it is a former archaeologist turned romance writer who 5 years before her archaeologist husband died. Okay, and she has writer's block because she's a romance writer, and she's still mourning the death of her husband. So she's having a great deal of difficulty writing the books because, in some ways, the book, the main male character is sort of based on him. And she has, so she's going on a book tour, and one of the people going with her is the male model who models on her covers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that is Channing Tatum.
Yeah, that's really funny, but yeah.
Yeah. So she's somebody who really likes intelligent people, apparently. You can see her when you see the picture of her husband, her ex-husband, just sort of average, I guess, looking, like a little bit nerdy average. Not bad. But of course, being an archaeologist, probably very smart. But then there's Channing Tatum, which is the exact opposite. He's playing like very good looking, sort of dumb.
Yeah,
although you find out later he's just, it's not dumb so much as really awkward.
Yeah.
So she ends up being kidnapped by an insane multi-billionaire played by the Harry Potter guy.
What? Which one?
The Radcliffe, I think. Radcliffe?
No, really? Radcliffe?
Yeah,
okay.
Actual Harry Potter dude.
Yeah. That's an interesting casting choice, but
Yeah.
okay.
So he kidnaps her and says that he wants her to solve this riddle that apparently her and her husband worked on like way back when. This translation, so that he can find the lost ruby necklace of a queen.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of Freudian stuff, like he's jealous of his much more successful brother. He's amusingly called Abigail. And his brother's Lindsay. And
God,
and
the
Beverly.
worst names. Yeah.
Well, they were originally male names, which is really infuriating. Like, people need to stop giving girls men's names. Stop it. Let men keep their shit, for God's sake. Or don't complain when men are like, you're taking our shit. Well, maybe we'll take some of yours. Anyway. But, so Abigail kidnaps the romance writer, plops her down on this island to solve this issue. She escapes. Actually, what happens is her cover model calls this guy he met in a yoga class, who apparently tracks people down, like a international
man of mystery.
and he gets her back, and the other guy tags along, being awkward. It's like you took the most awkward geeky guy and put him in Channing Tatum. Anyway, so he tags along, and the international man of mystery is played by Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And so you have this, I guess that you could say that's slightly decoy protagonist, because you start to think, well, maybe it's Brad Pitt who's the romantic lead.
Wait,
right?
Brad Pitt or Channing Tatum?
Yeah. Brad Pitt is the
So Brad Pitt
lead.
is in this movie too.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't convey that. Yes, Brad Pitt is in this movie too. And he plays the international man of mystery who originally saves her, then gets shot, and Channing Tatum and her have to survive being in the jungle.
Okay.
And it's sort of like Romancing the Stone, except modernized, I guess.
Yeah.
And anyway, not that Romancing the Stone was particularly not modern, but regardless. So that they do there's some moments there that I just laughed. Like when Channing Tatum and Bruce Pitt are like getting her, like running her out from this explosion, and she's strapped to a chair in a wheelbarrow. There were some great comedic moments there.
Yeah.
Of course, then when they got the boom headshot on Brad Pitt's character, the theme completely changed. Like the tone changed. You got a lot darker.
Yeah,
so
sure.
They're running away from these people in the jungle. And what I wanted to point out is that there's something that happens to Channing Tatum's character that every romance, if you're gonna write romance, if you're gonna start with sort of an extremely unlikely character for romantic lead, and it's not that Channing Tatum is unlikely because of what he looks like. In this case, the apparent stupidity and awkwardness, which actually ends up translating into him being a lot more emotionally intelligent. That makes sense than her. Like, she's a bit of a dick. Let's be frank. And there's points at which she probably would have been lost without him. But what I was going to point out is that there's this process, and it's in a book called, that they point this out, 200 Ways to Destroy Your Novel. For example, I'll use a different example. Let's say you were going to write a romance between a female character and Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Are you imagining that? Saint Nick.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, through the process of the story, Saint Nick would have to become more masculine. Like, you have to...
Yeah.
You have to lose weight, take up rugby, something.
Yeah.
And the same thing sort of happens in this novel, or this story, which is an interesting... Channing starts to become... he never quite gets to the level of Brad Pitt, but he starts to become more...
I see.
Yeah, so
sure.
I mean, it's an interesting example of that. I mean, if you're going to watch it, I thought it was enjoyable. There was funny stuff. There had some heart to it. And then also it might be worth watching it to watch that how they progressed that character to change him into...
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that, you know, for all that feminists and the woke profess, all this bullshit about men and women and gender fluidity, and it like the best-selling stories in the world, like the genre that bodies every other written genre, is romance. And you don't go very far in romance without recognizing masculinity and femininity and creating a masculine male character. You just don't.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's like the biggest genre that appeals to women is completely defined by gender roles.
That's right.
And simultaneously, they try to pretend that it's not women who are one of the primary drivers or the primary driver for maintaining gender roles. But also, like, if this is what women want, and I think men also enjoy being masculine, I assume, and would prefer not to have it insulted, belittled, and being told to not be that way. Maybe that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think it is okay. I mean, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll double check to see what's going on.
Yeah. I got a super chat, and it's a little bit weird. So, Chloe Small gives us $10 Canadian and says, Emraz, Femme Next Door, made her yearly imagine for 24 hours there are no men in the world tweet. Any comments?
Oh.
So, I don't know if that's like a pro, like if she's saying that, you know, like we would do fine without men, or if everything would just collapse, which is what would happen.
What's the name again? Chloe?
Oh, your camera stopped again.
Okay, well, I think the dog is actually lying on the floor by his ball. So I think he's done. I think he's basically done as much ball as he's going to do. He's eaten as many snacks as he's going to eat. Maybe that's why people are like, no, we're not gonna send any more moolah through because your dog needs a break from the snacks. What was the name of the woman who's tweeting?
Well, I don't know if that's what this is, but Emraz, EMRAZZ, comma, Femme Next Door, and Femme Next Door is.
That's. I'm pretty sure that's a parody account. Oh, I'm blocked. I can't even see it.
Well, there you go. Can't even look at it.
Well, I could. Fuck! What? I thought this was a parody account.
I don't know.
Let me just do private window.
Yeah.
And here we go. Feminist Next Door. Sweater is on backwards and inside out. Will tweet for mini muffins. Oh no, this looks genuine.
Genuine?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not hurting anyone. It's your power you want to protect. I don't give a fuck if you like me, and the audacity of it terrifies and enrages you. Sorry, Petal, but I've already infected thousands and they will infect millions more. You're not doing anything new, friend. Wait till you hear about how homes become fatherless.
It's a weird thing to claim, but okay.
Oh my god. Look at the ratios on her tweets. How does she have 200?
What?
Oh, her ratios on her tweets are insane.
Yeah.
Like this one tweet, I'm not hurting anyone, got 406 likes and 13,000 comments. This other tweet is got 485 likes and 16,000 comments.
Mm.
If it's the lack of masculinity, why aren't women raised by single mothers committing mass murder?
The women?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they don't have to.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at this. I'm trying to find this. Oh, okay, it has, okay, let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, this is genuine. Women, imagine that for 24 hours there were no men in the world. No men are harmed in the creation of this hypothetical. They will return. They're safe and happy where they're doing this brief fictional time period. What would change for you? What would you do that day? Oh my God.
Oh, I see.
Honest?
This is the. I'm gonna go for a walk in the middle of the night
Is this an honest answer?
with no pants on.
Is this an honest goddamn? You would walk in the middle of the night with no pants on, with women around.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I don't want women seeing my ass either. All right, no men are harmed. What would change for you? Okay, feminist next door. The first thing that would change is you'd have no electricity. You might also have no plumbing, depending on how long the plumbing substation can work. No trash collection. Like
No electricity, no internet connection, no heat.
Like a lot of planes would be falling out of the sky. A lot of trains would be derailing. A lot of buses. Like how is this happening? A lot of buses will be going off. Like probably you'd be looking at millions and millions of casualties.
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen if there were no women in the world for 24 hours. Oh, she's also against TERFs.
Okay. So she's a real G.
Yeah. Like, but here's the question. Like, all right, so male-bodied individuals are fine as long as they don't identify as women. They can do whatever they want. They can act totally like men, but as long as they say, no, I'm a woman, that's fine. Isn't this really thin hair here? Like this is really splitting a thin hair. I mean, at the very least, like you can say that the TERFs aren't splitting that hair. You know? But this hair is being split.
Yeah. Yep.
Colleen Scott said, absolutely nothing would change for me except maybe I would make a little more money. Are you fucking kidding? I love these ratios, though. 162 likes, 51,000 comments. Holy shit! Are these people getting ratioed? Like that's not good, right? Generally, that's not good.
I don't know. I would think not. You're supposed to compare retweets to comments, right?
I think it's retweets, but they're not getting a lot of retweets. They're just getting a lot of comments. I'm just curious what the comments. Let's get in there. Oh, maybe it's just women saying, "Oh my God, I'd be so much better." Jesus Christ! You know what? I wish they would live. I wish there was a button somewhere and be like, "Okay, that's what you want. Go exist in that world without men. Leave. Bye. The rest of us can exist in this world." There you go, Carl Schwab. There's your population reduction.
Yep.
I bet it's, you know what? It's probably all women like, oh my God, sister, you're so right. Why is it that this is like, why is this level of resentment so attractive to so many women?
Good question. I think we've talked about this before. I don't know. Do women feed on the resentment of other women, even if they don't really agree? I think that's a
big dreams in answering this in the past. Now I feel that if it was just for a day, other women would uphold the patriarchy and make me feel unsafe even without men. I mean, like women like me, like the only thing that I uphold is actually holding women responsible for their behavior, for their individual behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not giving them ridiculous powers that allow them to remove men from their children's lives. Like, period, just don't do that. Or be able to get away with rape and domestic violence. Well, that's holding women to account for their behavior. So a woman like me is going to make you unsafe. A woman who will actually call out other women if they start beating on you, Edita Junja. Like, seriously, this is what I do not fucking understand about these women. Like, why would you think that being around women who are like, oh, other women, they're angels, they never do any wrong. Why would that? And you're okay. You are in a room with like 100 fucking women, okay? There's a woman like me who will be, if a woman comes up to you and says, I like that scarf, and punches you in the face, I'll be like, wait, what are you doing? Don't do that. Because I hold women to account for their actions. And I'm going to make you feel unsafe and not the woman punching you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? Like, is this really the kind of women that women want? They want women who do not hold other women to account. Like, I mean, I've done this for people in my acquaintance. For example, like there was a friend of mine who used to date this older man whose daughter had a child, and they would babysit the child.
Yeah.
Like the father would babysit the child with my friend, who's his girlfriend. I don't know if we're still friends. It's been a while, but anyway. So she went on Facebook and started to loudly berate her, my friend, for failing to babysit her child correctly. And apparently what happened is that she didn't get the child to study during the time that they were babysitting them.
Yeah.
And then later I find out that the study materials the woman didn't provide before sending her child to be babysat by them. So I was like, well, wait a second. First of all, they're babysitting your child for free. That's a favor they're doing for you. Okay? They're not obligated to then do all kinds of shit that you should be doing as the child's mother. Right? They're not obligated to that. My friend is not obligated to you. So she was being bullied. Essentially, she was being bullied on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And I stepped in and I said, what the fuck are you doing? Hello, did you know that I exist?
Mm-hmm.
I'm X's bitch friend. And if you bully her, I'm going to point out all of your logic. And I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to stand for it. So you feel safer in a world where no woman does that. Like every single woman in that room of 100 women is going to be like, Sally's bullying Sue. Well, we wouldn't want to upset the sisterhood by telling Sally off and telling her to sit down and shut up. You're going to feel safer in that situation. God. I don't understand. Oh, can somebody who understands that explain that to me? Like, I feel safer in a room full of 100 women who are going to hold each other to account for their behavior. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the sensible answer? Who wouldn't be like, oh no, we can't actually call Sally out because that would be anti-feminist. We need to tolerate all of our abusive sisters and their abuse on us. Because to do otherwise would be anti-feminist. You realize how quickly that room of 100 women is going to descend into aggression, like social aggression, physical aggression, because girls do it too, fucking rape, and beating, and psychopathy, because nobody is being held to account. And it's not even because all women are like that. It's because the 4% of women who are going to rule the roost. And then however many women who are complacent are going to then they're going to set the tenor, and the complacent women are going to live up to that. It's going to be fucking hell.
Mm-hmm.
And all because you just don't like women who are like, no, actually, you shouldn't behave that way. I don't care that you have a vagina. That's not the way a human being behaves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care you have a vagina. I mean, you are being given a favor. My friend is doing you a favor by babysitting your kid. The fact is, you should be appreciative that she's making the effort to do that. Not judge her for things that you didn't even provide her the means to do while she was babysitting her kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
It just seems, I wonder if we had any rejoinder from or any response. Probably all of these comments are like just talking about how wonderful it would be without men. Really? Yeah, I've read your guys' fanfic. You hate women.
Yeah.
You know, I just hate certain behaviors. You know, I don't hate women. I hate behaviors engaged in by bullies. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, rant over. This looks phenomenally unproductive. That would be my final statement.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Super chats. I got one from the Great Indoors for $10, and he says, I would like to hear Allison's take on... Oh, yeah, okay. We already talked about Pan's Labyrinth, so let me just put a done then.
Yeah, that was super chat.
Yeah, I know, but it didn't say done afterwards, so I assumed it was new. Okay. All right. So I got that. Super chats. We're all caught up on those. I think that's it.
Okay.
I think
so
we're good.
We call it a day, like we did 2 hours, right?
Yeah, we did 2 hours and change. So why not?
Yeah, sure. It's a little light on the support, but it's that bot during the fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like before the last 3 days when everybody sort of bum rushes the fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
So we got we're at 885, I believe. So thank you to everybody who supported. And we have another 3,705 left.
All right.
So, yeah, 3,705 left. And usually everything comes in at the last 3 days. So 29th, 30th, 31st. Sometimes you guys wait till the 1st because I have some weird thing going on with the time zone. But, thank you for supporting. If you'd like to join our very generous supporters, once again, the link is at feedthebadger.com/support. Hopefully you enjoyed this holiday stream. And I hope that you are enjoying your holidays, or at least finding them tolerable, at least having maybe some time off, or at least, I don't know, your job isn't too bad. Hopefully something good will happen for you in the holidays if it isn't. And if it is, that's great. Okay. All right. Would you do anything else?
No, I think we're done. So... Thanks, guys, for coming on today's holiday stream, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. What?
Yeah, before, are we out?
No, we're not.
Okay. If you would like to join the screening of the movies, you can do so at badgernation.online. You just join up, just go there, pop into Discord, and you'll be able to watch. We'll probably do a few movies tonight as well. To keep people entertained.
Well, there you go, guys. You should watch
what's
the No, I wasn't gonna suggest that. I was gonna suggest why am I blanking on the name? It's the one you know, about the guy who's thinking about committing suicide because he doesn't think that his life means anything, and then he talks to the angel, and the you know, do you know what I'm saying? And then It's a Wonderful Life. And yeah, so if you guys haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life yet, I think that you could probably find it for free in most places. And it has a very heroic story in it. And it you know, it's a much better movie, a more masculine movie than most people give it credit for. So yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. I watched it like a few weeks ago. So
okay.
Thanks guys for coming on today's show, and we'll talk to you all in the next video.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.